All right. Welcome, everybody, to Entity Attachment and Dark Occult Forces. Protect and clear yourself from foreign entities, multidimensional occult forces, and unwanted energy. This is brought to you by Toren Collective, created and presented by myself, Nicholas Illumin. For more information about what we offer at Toren Collective, for more information about entity removal, depossession, exorcism, paranormal haunting, assistance and services that we offer, and more, you can go to torencollective.com. Thank you for being here. Disclaimer. All the information shared here is intended solely for information and education purposes and is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or replace proper medical care. Always consult a licensed healthcare professional before making any significant modification to your well-being or lifestyle. Besides the tools and techniques suggested in this course, it is not recommended to attempt to remove or clear any foreign, quote, dark entities or energies, unwanted dark foreign energies, without proper training and or without the assistance of a trained facilitator or professional. By partaking in any of what is suggested in this course, you do so at your own risk. All information is experiential in nature and is based on Toren Collective's many years of extensive research, training, and fieldwork with many clients. We don't truly know what is 100% quote true or quote not true when it comes to entities and entity removal. We do not claim that any of the information about entities is 100% true, because who could really know for sure when it comes to this subject? All we know is what is, quote, true to us based on our own life experience, knowledge, and experiences working with different clients. Overview: an in-depth, deep dive course on foreign or dark entities. So when I use the word foreign, I'm also talking about dark entities, which a lot of the different other people who work in this field, or you might be reading or watching other videos, they refer to these type of entities as dark entities, but we call them foreign entities. And multidimensional dark foreign occult forces and how they attach, interfere, influence, and attack. Learn how to identify and protect yourself from these entities, forces, and unwanted energy. Learn a basic yet powerful energy clearing technique along with protection practices that are simple yet powerful. So here we'll have a little outline of what is going to be presented. Not going to read every single point here, but you can see these are the topics in order that I will be going through, sharing with you, and giving you a really solid foundation on these topics. And I feel that the times we are in now, that there is a spiritual war going on earth, in the heavens, in the earth, all around us, of, quote, good versus evil. The light, I believe, is winning. Earth, humans, is ascending, and there are dark forces, it seems, you can call them, that don't want Earth and humans to ascend and to be a peaceful, awake, loving, compassionate planet. So I feel that this is of great service for me to be here, and I'm very humbled and honored to be sharing this information with you. And I thank you again so much for participating in this course. And whether you're new to this course or you have some experience or great experience under this topic, or maybe you do entity clearing, depossession, exorcism work yourself, whoever you may be, thank you again so much for being here. and for taking the time to listen and to learn and to become more empowered in your life. So let us begin. What are foreign or dark entities? Multidimensional occult forces and unwanted, dense, stuck energy. A dark or foreign entity or occult force that would attach or possess is non-physical energy that could have been at one time human or not, from this earth realm or not, that is on a different reality of existence and consciousness. Unwanted energy is usually dense, stuck, thought form based or physical, quote, leftovers that has attached to your aura, energy body, or space. This energy has an emotional signature and can influence how you feel, think, act, and even affect your physical body in negative, unwanted ways. Entity attachment and people. I would say that from our over 30 years of combined personal healing experience and working with many clients, that over 98% of the American population has at least one or more influential harmful entities attached to them. Sometimes the entity or entities do not affect the person's thoughts or actions much at all. And in very rare cases, people's minds, body, and actions get completely taken over with the entity that is attached. More on this later. Most people are living their everyday lives, sometimes their entire life from birth or past lives, with the influence of the entity or entities. Entities can influence and control our actions, hobbies, beliefs, interests, dating type, food you eat, addictions you may have, things you look at or read, movies you watch, music you listen to, the job you have, the places you go, and even your chosen gender are not fully possibly coming from your own soul and your own desires alone, but from the entity or entities that are attached to you. People's physical and mental problems, illnesses, and addictions can also be related to entity attachment. So let's move into different types of foreign entities. First one here. So I'm going to go through the main different types of foreign entities that can attach, interfere, influence, attack, possess a person or a space or an object, a piece of land, your home, anywhere really. All these entities, again, we don't truly know what they are. Again, these aren't 100% facts. From my experience, from my partner Kriana's experience, and from other people who do similar work, it seems like that there's different types of entities. There's different signatures. There's different qualities that these entities have. And I feel it helps to categorize it, being humans, the type of brains that we have. It does help to kind of categorize them so we kind of we have an idea of knowing what we're dealing with, especially if you're wanting to learn how to clear entities, do entity removal, clear unwanted energy, do depossession, exorcism work. I think it is important to understand the different types, how they operate, but ultimately it seems like they're kind of coming from the same source. It's kind of like mushrooms. Mushrooms all are coming from this similar source, but they all are different. They all taste different. Some are poisonous, some are not poisonous. Seems the same type of thing with these darker foreign entities. They're very, very similar, but some are more intense, some are not as intense, some are more, quote, innocent, some are more purposefully destructive, and so on. So let's go into this. First is, we'll start with kind of the most common and then go to more of the ones that are not as common, that are more rare from my experience. So we have ghosts, or other names are here called the unquiet dead, hungry ghosts, or poltergeists. And these are all names for the same thing. However, not all ghosts are poltergeists. So here we're talking about humans that are now dead. So people who used to be alive and for whatever reason they have died and chosen to stay in the earthly realm plane of existence, have chosen either deliberately or by fear or concern with what might happen to them if they transfer or move into the light, as some people say. They have chosen not to do that. They have chosen not to move on for whatever is next for their soul's evolution, healing, and growth. They decided to stay here. And some of the reasons they do that are revenge, fear of the unknown, fear of karma, so fear of going to hell, fear of being born into um, a horrible life or a life as an animal, religious programming, um, feeling like they have unfinished business, feeling lost or confused, especially with the people that die who have they die suddenly and they die very quickly or in a very horrible way, or people that take their own life. They tend to be the ones that stay around the most, it seems. And then the ones that are afraid of going to hell, or the ones that are afraid of being judged or having some life of hellish torment because they know that in their lifetime that they weren't, quote, a very good person, or that they did horrible things. Those seem to be the ones that want to stick around, and mm, they can be called lost souls, unquiet dead, again, hungry ghosts. What happens is that these souls will hang around a specific part of the earth, like land. They'll hang around a lot, different spaces. So hospitals that they may have died in, cemetery, a house they used to live in. They also connect to people. So especially if it's a child or if it's someone that's very lost or scared or confused or doesn't understand that they're dead, they might see someone that they like or see someone that they know and or that they love and hang around that person. So this ghost, this soul, will hang around someone's space or some person for whatever reason. Sometimes it's to harm them, and sometimes it's because it comforts them to be around the person or the space. And whether this ghost is wanting to harm you or not, they still have to use your life force energy or chi or prana to be here, to survive. They have to use and drain you of your chi, whether they know they're doing this or not. They have to drain you and use your energy, your life force energy, in order to really stay in this earth plane. And especially people that have addictions or attachments to earth, they'll find people that have similar addictions, or people who just are very open and vulnerable to this, which we'll go into, and continue to live out their addictions. So someone who dies an alcoholic stays around, wants to keep drinking, they'll find someone, and whether that person is an alcoholic or not, they can even encourage them and start them to get drinking and become an alcoholic. Or someone who's very addicted to food, they'll find people who eat similar food, or find someone who's open to being attached to, and they'll start eating through them. Or someone who's a boy, finding a girl and wanting to change them into a boy and switching their gender on purpose because of whatever reason. There's a whole world of things that it seems like can happen. And a great example of this is in the book by Dr. Edith Fiore called The Unquiet Dead, which we'll go into later, suggested reading list. So these are the ghosts, and the poltergeists are the ones, basically the spirits that hang around homes. Usually they're either attached to a home or someone in the home, and they're angry, upset, or wanting attention in some way. And they'll start moving things, the lights flickering, cabinets opening, doors slamming, voices being heard, all that type of stuff you see in the movies. That stuff definitely can happen, and that's kind of like an angry ghost, or it can also be demons or other energies as well. So we'll move now into the dark elite forces. This is a kind of hierarchical army type system of dark foreign beings that work like um, like a caste system, like a military type of leveled system of hierarchy. And I just want to make something clear that I believe that there is no source of evil. There is only a source of life and love, and then the absence of life and love. There's creation and there's destruction. So if love exists and beauty and joy and creation exists, then destruction also has to exist, and chaos and fear. If the most beautiful person can exist, then the most quote horrible or quote evil and destructive person also has to exist, right? Because everything exists in this universe, in this earth. If there's love, and there's that, then there's the opposite of love. If there's joy, then there's the opposite of joy. If there's fear, then there's the opposite of fear, and so on and so forth. And it seems like that there are beings that exist, that it is just their nature to create, encourage, and feed off of those quote negative feelings, emotions, and qualities of life. It seems like there are forces that just love to destroy, control, dominate, create war, suffering, chaos. Just like there's forces that create the opposite: beauty, expansion, joy, art, celebration, enlightenment, we can say. So these dark forces, though, however, at this time on Earth, seem to be running amok, and you can see it everywhere in many different ways. We'll get into this stuff, but these dark forces seem to have leaders and beings that are not so strong, quote unquote, and ones that are more strong or quote powerful. And these, you can look at it like in the Lord of the Rings. There's Sauron, who's this like dark wizard, who's the leader of all these other dark beings like the orcs and the goblins and these dark wizards and different other dark beings. Or in Harry Potter series, you can look at this as Voldemort being the head top dark wizard, and underneath him all the other dark wizards and all the other dark beings, and then goes lower and lower down the totem pole of this hierarchical system. So that's what these dark forces are. And this also goes on a multidimensional level of occult dark forces of other beings from other planets, that different races of existence, consciousness, beings, aliens, galactics, whatever you want to call them, that also have this, that are working for similar forces, or that also it is their nature, it is their job, it is all they know, is to be destructive, to create war, to have chaos, to destroy, to create suffering. And some beings get switched into this. They start good and then they go bad, quote unquote. And some of them are just, this is all they know. This is their job. This is their existence. So that's what it seems to be the dark forces are. Demons are a part of this dark. So all demons are a main part of this dark elite force. And to me, demons are energetical byproducts of the opposite of love. So again, if love exists, the feeling, the emotion, the unexplainable definition of love exists, then the opposite has to exist. And it seems that that's what these demons are embodying. And I don't feel that it's like the movies where there are these physical beings that you can come into face and face, flesh and bone contact. Sometimes, yes, we'll get into this in the next slide or so. But these types of demons are the ones that are influencing people. They feed on fear, and they encourage fear and any emotion related to fear, despair, anger, lust. They are the beings, the forces, the entities that are encourage people to take their lives, to take other people's lives, that are working influencing, possessing some of the most, quote, evil people that you would see on the planet, doing some of the most horrific things. They are either working with or being influenced or possessed consciously or unconsciously by these types of entities. They also, I believe, are man-made. Many of these entities can be, quote unquote, man-made. And what do I mean by that? I mean that these entities called demons, can get created by man's thoughts, destructive, harmful thoughts, feelings, emotions, and actions. For I know and believe truly within my heart that we as humans are creator gods. We have God's source energy that resides in all things within us. We are made of God, of source. And we are, as being creator gods, as we create our own reality, we can create the most beautiful, loving thing, or we can create the most horrific thing through our thoughts, feelings, emotions, and actions. So over time, all thoughts and actions that have ever happened throughout the entire existence of humans still exist somewhere in an energetical state. Every thought that has ever been thought still exists. Every action still has a ripple effect of action. And because of all the war, all the chaos, all the suffering that has gone on this planet, that all gets recorded and can create, because we're creator gods, an energetical being. And I believe this can be demons. Also, the fear and the idea that has been brought about by different religions, especially Christianity and such, about demons and hell. You can create a story, have something be called Satan or a demon or a devil, and even if that thing didn't exist before, by you imagining it and creating it and getting enough people to believe in it, you can also create something unwanted like this as well. So the demons are kind of the darkest of the dark, quote unquote. They can feed off of and promote and encourage the most destructive, horrific thoughts, behavior, and actions out of all, not just humans, but animals and other things as well. So now we have demons born into human, quote, flesh, and humans, quote, replaced by demons. And here, this is humans that have usually deliberately chosen to, quote, sell their soul in such a way where they have checked out to such a degree or done such horrific things that they're almost completely taken over by an entity. This can be people who you think are the most beautiful or holy people, could have been replaced at some point or another by a dark entity, be it demon or something else. And what can happen also is some people can be born through certain rituals in Satanism and other dark magic practices and cult and rituals, where they bring in a, quote, demon or dark entity into a fetus, into a living being. This is rare, but it seems to go on because you see these certain gurus or people that are very spiritual and popular of the earth. They seem to at some point change. At some point, you look at them early on, and when they're younger or earlier in their spiritual guru career, they feel and look one way and hold a specific quality to them, and then something happens and they either look different or they do something different. Or some people that are posing to be gurus and connected to God and doing good, actually you end up not doing good. And there are different people throughout time recently where you think that they're a beautiful, benevolent being doing good service, this, guru person or teacher, and then you find out that they were abusing or sleeping with their students or harassing them in some way. And that can be, again, something where they've been replaced, or they deliberately let go of their soul and something else has come in. Harmful ETs or malevolent aliens. So here we again have a galactic race of a being, and it's not an entire race, it's specific beings of different races that choose to work for the quote dark side and want to dominate, control, manipulate humans, or they are born into a culture or a race of humans that, or I'm sorry, of ETs, of galactic beings that, again, that's just who they are. They control, they dominate, they create war and destruction. That's just what they do, and that's what they've done, and that's what they continue to do. A lot of these ETs are either working, same with the demons, demons and the ETs seem to be working hand in hand with a lot of the different earthly government systems and the different major world systems throughout our existence here, like the governments, the healthcare systems, the schooling systems, the entertainment industries, and so forth, the sports, the music, the movies. These ETs and the demons have either possessed, or the humans are working for these different galactic races or demons. And some of these races are the Anunnaki and other type of reptilian type races. And it doesn't seem like, again, it's not the entire race of galactic beings, but it's specific ones from these different races. And just like this, like not all humans do evil or do bad. So these types of entities can seem to be very, very present on this planet. And there are also good, benevolent galactics, right, that are assisting us, like some Pleiadians and Arcturians and so forth seem to be protecting Earth and humans and assisting us with our healing, awakening, and mastery of self. Fallen angels or biblical demons. So fallen angels, again, moving into some more rare types of entities that would actually attach or possess someone. These are beings that are an angelic race that have either chosen, been tricked, or born into working for, again, the quote darker side of existence. And the biblical demons I kind of went over earlier, and that's more of, I believe, a more man-made type of entity that has been created based on man's fear. And the fallen angels, I feel, tend to not, it seems like they don't possess or attach to people as much as really just encouraging them or creating specific energetical atmospheres around people for chaos, destruction, fear, and suffering to happen. And I've also read that they seem to be attached more to women and do this more to women, especially the male angelic race. So it's also important to note that when it comes to the demons, there's this quote, face your demons. You may have heard of this. And that is another sign that some of this demonic energy is man-made, man-produced. It's a specific quality that is causing suffering in a way to empower you, for you to see more clearly, for me to step up into your power and to heal and to become more aligned with the God divine energy. For ultimately, that's what I think the flip positive side to all these entities an entity attachment is that it helps us to become empowered and to become even more deliberate with our thoughts, our actions, our feelings, our emotions, and to do our work to become the most loving and compassionate and grounded and fully embodied person here on earth, to create a more beautiful, joyful experience for ourselves, our family, and ultimately humanity. So that's kind of like the flip side, positive thing of all these entities, entity attachments, and dark stuff that we're talking about. False spirit guides. So false spirit guides would be dark entities posing to be uh, nice, good guides, helpers, and so on. This is very common where you have someone channeling or someone using a Ouija board without discernment, without any protection around them, without knowing too much about what they're doing. They get in contact with some being and they say they're Jesus or Mother Mary or an alien, a galactic being that cares about them, or an angel, or so on. But really, they're a demon or a dark force or a lost soul pretending to be lost soul who knows a lot about Jesus or who knows a lot about them and is pretending to be good, but ultimately they want to do harm. So this is very, very common. It is extremely important to, before you do any type of communication, contact, interacting with anything in the non-physical, to be very grounded, to be very clear, and to use very good discernment based on how you feel, on who you're talking with, who you're interacting with, because a lot of these entities are very mischievous. They're very good liars. They're extremely good manipulators. And the Ouija board, I would just stay away from 100,000% because I think that it was designed specifically to bring in dark entities. Energy and psychic vampires. So this is people that are either humans possessed by entities or actual a vampiric race of beings that dominantly their job is to suck chi or prana or life force energy from people, either deliberately or undeliberately, and take it and then store it or bring it to be supplied to other entities or just for themselves. And you may have been around a person or a group of people where you just leave them, or while you're interacting with them, you just feel drained, you feel tired, you get a headache, you have weird thoughts or phobias, or where did that thought come from? Or you meet someone and you walk away and you just feel completely exhausted, even though you have no logical reason to be. That could be a sign of psychic or energy vampires. So that can be a human that again is possessed with some, or it has some sort of entity attachment. Possessed and attachment, possession and attachment, I use those words interchangeably, so just so you know. And then you have the vampiric race, which is a form of beings that are not in our realm of our physical. You can't actually see them, even though some may be in human flesh, but most of them are in this unseen realm. And they're again they're instead of sucking blood like they show in the movies, a lot of them are, most of them are using, again, sucking your chi, your prana, your life force energy for themselves selfishly, or for to be collected and then taken away to be done with or supplied to other entities. Negative lower level spirits. So these I see as beings that were human, have died, and because of their agreements or contracts that they've made with dark forces or entities or dark rituals, Satanism, what have you, while they were alive or after they've died, they've somehow made an agreement to work for the dark forces. And you can think of this again as like Lord of the Rings, the Nazgul, the ring wraiths. They were once men and then they died, and now they're kind of trapped lost souls that are working forever for Sauron, the leader of the Dark Forest. That's kind of how I see these beings. They don't really possess people as much, I notice, but kind of do the bidding of like the pawns of these dark forces, but they could possess people and attach to them. Okay, so now we have implants, explants, and energetical cords. So here we have implants, which are I look at them like if you've seen, I used to watch a lot of movies, especially horror movies back in the day. And if you've seen the movie Saw, where there's like these machine like objects on people that are like torture devices, these implants can look like that. They can also look like more organic, like bugs or leeches or like face huggers, like from the movie Alien. And they're basically draining and sucking your chi. And they could be removed very easily. And explants are something that are not attached to your physical body. So they're somewhere in your auric field, but more further away. And they're taking your chi or prana away from you and then sending it somewhere else, where the implants are kind of like on you. And they could be, both the implants or the explants could also be running a program, could be running specific beliefs or thought forms into your consciousness, and creating you to and have it and encouraging you to create certain destructive habits, beliefs, actions, and so on. And then energetical cords, of course, are cords that you create with anyone you interact with. And the more intimate you have an interaction you have, the more of a cord that can be attached. And if you have a cord with someone who has entities, then you can have their entities influencing you as well. And these cords are very easily cut. And the smallest, thinnest cord connected to you and another person would be maybe someone you just pass down the street. And the more thicker stick, the more thicker cord, and that's deeper, more very deep embedded into your energy body, would be someone that you say have sex with. Sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis is, from my understanding, mainly caused by entities. It could be some sort of neurological condition, perhaps, but it seems that from my experience, personal experience, and with working with other people, that people who suffer from sleep paralysis, when they have entity removal or depossession, the sleep paralysis completely goes away. So this is basically, if you don't know what this is, you're asleep or you're about to fall asleep, and then you get a feeling like you're being choked or suffocated, or someone's on top of you, or you kind of come awake in your dream and you try to wake up or you try to scream or you try to talk, but you're like frozen, and it feels horrible and it's extremely uncomfortable. And this seems to be directly related to entity attachment. And then we have hidden, secret, and unknown things and entities. And this is just everything else that we have no idea what it is, where they come from, what they're called, but there's some sort of energy signature and structure, and they seem to attach and influence and cause harm and suffering. All right, so signs and symptoms of entity and unwanted energy attached to yourself or space. So foreign entities attached to the physical body can be experienced most commonly as feeling afraid, unsafe, unsettled, low energy levels, mood swings, character shifts, feeling unwanted emotions regularly like depression, anger, anxiety, and panic attacks, inner voice or voices to you, difficult sleeping, night terrors or sleep paralysis, loss of memory or poor concentration or brain fog, sudden onset of physical problems with no obvious cause, inability to control destructive behaviors, addictions, breaking things, hurting oneself or others, frequently feeling very cold or hot for no apparent reason, intense fears, phobias, or dark obsessions, feeling a great interest in the dark occult, black magic, or Satanism, or feel that you, quote, love horror movies, shows, games, and watch and or play them often, and any emotional or physical negative reactions to reading any of the information on this course. So especially any of these things that kind of come up out of nowhere, they have like this sudden onset, that's definitely a sign of entity attachment. So signs and symptoms of unwanted energy or entities attached to your space: unexplained noises, banging, footsteps, etc. Things being moved on their own, doors or cupboards opening or closing, items being misplaced or lost, feelings of discomfort or heaviness in the space or within yourself, feeling like you are being watched, less visible light, darker, foggy areas in the home or space, different temperatures, hot or cold when you go into certain areas of the house or space, electronic devices often not working properly, plants unable to thrive and dying even though they are being cared for properly, seeing someone in the peripheral vision or feeling as though someone is there when no one is home. House pets, pets regularly tracking, chasing, growling, or barking at things you can't physically see. Children reporting any of these things as they can be more tuned in with spiritual energies than adults. So those are the main signs of symptoms that you may have entity attachment to yourself or your space or an animal. Yeah. So are movies accurate about entity attachment? Hollywood and games and now the music industry, it seems, portray possession and entities in a very specific way. And there are so many movies about entity possession. It's kind of crazy. Um, I used to be in the haunted house and horror industry. I used to build, design, create, and run different haunted houses. This was before I went through my own entity depossession experience. You can read about this in one of my blogs on my website, torencollective.com. But what I've noticed, and I've seen many of the possession movies when I used to watch horror movies, and are they accurate? Is that actually what entity possession looks like? Yes and no. It is rare, but it does happen where people can act like they do in the movies. They can get to such a point of being where their aura, their energy is so weak, or they have been born into a situation where they go through dark, satanic, occult rituals or sacrifices as a young baby, or from experiencing a lot and accumulating much, much dense, dark, negative karma. Some people can get to a type of attachment where they get fully, quote, taken over by an entity. And that's where they can start speaking in different languages. They can start floating. They could have superhuman strength. The Catholic priests, the church exorcists seem to be attracting most of those cases. I have never experienced this in my own work. My main teacher who taught me how to do this entity clearing that we do, she has never experienced this. It seems that the Catholic Church exorcists are the main ones that experience this regularly, one or two a month, it seems to be reported. So can that happen? Yes. It seems to be rare. And I think the most from what I understand, the most accurate movie to what that can look like is the movie The Exorcist, the original one that was made. That would be like the most extreme form of entity attachment possession. Also, I heard the Conjuring movie is the other one that's very accurate. And yeah, I don't suggest watching these movies, but there are, if you want to, for some reason, see that, I suggest you um, put up your shields, do your protection practices, and have a way to clear yourself afterwards and protect yourself before watching any of those movies. But I do not recommend them. I'm not telling you to watch them. I would suggest to highly not engage in any type of horror or oppression type movie, because that's the one way you can invite entities into your space. So there are many other books written by different exorcists where they talk about their experiences if you want to dive deeper into this. But again, I am not recommending that as well. So how foreign entities attach/possess humans. So we're going to talk about the main ways of how people can attract and get possessed or attached, have entity attachment. And the main way is soul loss, or having a weak energy body or aura body. So on the left here, we have a human in a healthy, this would be like a very healthy, grounded, balanced human being who has healed, who has very little trauma or has healed significantly from past life trauma and current trauma, who has done a lot of their deep, true shadow work, healing different emotional trauma, past situations, and is in control dominantly, deliberately of their mind, body, emotions, and eats healthy food and has meditated and has knows how to manage their mind, body, and energies in a healthy way, and is fully grounded, embodied, with a strong connection to a divine God source energy. So that's the person on the left. Their chakras, their colors represent healthy chakras, bright energy body, healthy, no holes, no holes, cuts, or slits or openings in the energy body, as you can see on the right. This would be an extreme version of a very weak, damaged, open energy body or auric body. For over time, as we experience life from this lifetime and past lifetimes, when we cause harm or experience harm or go through any type of trauma, we then create these holes, cuts, and slits in our auric energy body. What seems to happen is something called soul loss, where parts of your soul you can disembody to that can actually fragment away and go and kind of be stuck in the time that you had the trauma, or you disassociate in some way because of the trauma, where a part of your soul actually checks out and leaves. Does this really happen? I'm not sure, but this is what it seems like is happening. And when that happens, when you disembody, when you check out, when part of your soul leaves, then there's a hole or an opening in your energy body, and these cuts and slips happen from different traumatic and harmful experiences. And this also goes for when you cause harm to yourself or others. So these different holes and cuts and openings is how entities can attach to your energy body and then influence you and cause harm and suffering. If you have a strong energy body, the entity, and you are empowered and grounded and as healthy as you can be, like the image on the left, it is very hard for any type of entity, no matter how quote dark or strong they are, to attach to you and influence you. Can it still happen? Yes, but it's going to be very minor. It's going to be very not often, and it's not going to affect you very much if they do attach. But the more here on the right, this version of the human, this is just, can all these holes, cuts, and slips can be filled with something else. Soul retrieval is one way to go through a soul retrieval experience with a shaman or a healer, and you can actually bring back these fragmented parts and pieces of your soul and replace these cuts, slits, and openings with your energy body again, sealing them up so that you're more like this image on the right. We'll talk more about that later. So the other main avenues humans get foreign entity attachments are through their own doing. We'll talk a little bit more about this later. From other people who are also infested with entities, through the ancestral lineage, you can get entities that are attached to literally your ancestral line, or from energetic portals and electronic devices. Foreign entities are attracted to humans that regularly experience fear, negative thoughts, and emotions such as guilt, anger, rage, lust, jealousy, and revenge, for example. These emotions become their, quote, food source for the entities. Entities also attach or possess people that have a lower weak energy field, like we just talked about. And when your energy field or aura gets holes, cuts, weak points, slits, openings, entities can more easily sneak in and attach themselves and fill in those spaces. This happens naturally from living life, and especially when one goes through trauma and stress. Entities can attach through negative and destructive thoughts and actions, through regularly acting upon harmful addictions and behaviors such as alcohol, drugs, gambling, porn, horror movies, etc. They can also get picked up in places where foreign energy dwells, such as most bars, strip clubs, airports, large music concerts, places that have held black magic ceremonies, places where a war or great suffering has taken place, and through having an intimate relationship and or sex with someone who has entity possession. The more you engage in these types of behaviors and go to these places, the more you attract other non-physical dark energies that match your negative thoughts, feelings, and actions. If, for example, you have a low self-esteem, like you don't love the person you see in the mirror, or you have negative self-talk, you can attract other energies, foreign entities, who also think and vibrate at that same frequency as the thoughts and beliefs you are holding. And the entities can then influence and enhance these negative talks and behavior. Over time, as you continue to feel negative thoughts, emotions, and act on them, you gather more and more harmful entities that vibrate at that same frequency you are. And the worse you feel, the worse you will continue to feel until you choose different thoughts, actions, and beliefs. If you ignore to work on certain mental, emotional parts of your mind and actions that are out of balance, for example, you have an anger issue, the foreign entity can poke at or enhance and encourage that anger until you choose to change your relationship with that emotion of anger that causes then no harm to yourself or others. Every thought that has ever been thought still exists energetically. Depending on what the human is thinking, doing, and feeling, you attract to you more of whatever you are feeling or thinking, wanted or unwanted, negative or positive. Over time, when you are in a negative state of being for long periods of time, you can at one point check out or go through disassociation and get very ungrounded and not fully in your body, like we were saying. At this point, the foreign entities that you have attracted to you over time from your negative thoughts, beliefs, and actions can seem to, quote, possess or, quote, take over you, the person, and are dominantly influencing the person's actions and words. I have seen this to happen in many different degrees of possession based on how many entities are present and how disembodied the person is. When the human has been in a state of suffering for so long that they seem to be, quote, taken over by something that is not them and is now, quote, in their body, mind, energy, most of the time the foreign entity does not actually go, quote, inside the person's body and fully, quote, take them over, like in most horror movies about possession, as we stated before. But what we have seen happen from our experience is that humans being, quote, possessed, not fully in their own body due to trauma or drugs, for example, is in a great state of suffering and despair, and have attracted or invited to themselves foreign entities which have the ability to seem very powerful and perform in human acts and sounds. The foreign entities, in this case usually demons, seem to have this power over the person they possess, for the foreign entity has been given this power by the human who is possessed through their suffering, destructive thoughts, actions for an extended period of time. The worst case of possession, the longer the person has been in that state of suffering, feeling disempowered, and, quote, feeding their demons through the reasons I have already stated. To get to a state where that person or home seems to be dramatically taken over by foreign entities takes a lot of time or a lot of negative thought forms, actions, ignorance slash avoidances that has taken place over and over and over again. The regular indulging of drugs, alcohol, destructive behavior, lustful sex without love, and avoiding doing their mental, emotional, spiritual work can increase suffering, can speed up the process of entity infestation in a person's body or space. Any entity that is possessing a person or haunting a home or space has been invited to do so in some way, shape, or form by the human. Deliberately or not deliberately, that is very important to know. For example, if a person has a weak energy body, is very ungrounded, or is engaged in negative destructive behavior or thoughts, plays with a Ouija board, or reads some magic spells or rituals from a dark occult book, they can call upon dark entities to come into their experience and possess themselves, their home, pets, or family. Over time, the dark entity can influence the person, pet, or family member to not feel good and create deeper and greater suffering to one's body or space. The longer this happens, the worse it will get until the person chooses to deliberately do something different through changing their thoughts, beliefs, and actions, getting an entity clearing depossession, soul retrieval, deep shadow work healing, a strong personal connection to the divine, and a true feeling of empowerment. Foreign entities can also be invited into one's experience by being tricked. For example, foreign entities can pretend to be loving spirit guides, angels, or ascended masters like Jesus or Mother Mary, like we talked about. But really, they are foreign entities playing tricks. If one prays for help and calls in guidance for their life, and that person does not have good discernment, they can be fooled, and the human then invites the entity into their life unknowingly, and that entity will cause harm to them in some way. Again, this is very, very common. Regarding haunted houses or places, it is usually either a space that is being haunted by an earthbound dead or demon or both. These foreign entities, for some reason, have chosen to inhabit that home or space and feel like it is, quote, their own. That earthbound dead or lost soul are often suffering, confused, and or angry. The foreign entities can use the human life force energy to do things in the physical realm like move objects, make sound, or speak. Demons can do the same. They use the living human's energy related to fear and negative emotions, thoughts, and actions to cause harm and suffering in some way, shape, or form to the living. In the case of people who move into a house that is haunted already, the humans still are attracting that specific house to them. And by living there or being in the space, they are then inviting whatever foreign entity was there to interact with them. The more fear or negative emotions and addictions one has, the more one is influenced and invites dark foreign entities into their lives in many different ways. Another major avenue foreign entities possess people or enter spaces are through devices like cell phones, smart TVs, computers, tablets, or anything like this. These devices act as portals for foreign entities to enter into their experience. This gets amplified by what exactly you are listening to, reading, playing, or looking at. If you have a weak or fragmented aura, then the entities can more easily attach, like we talked about. If you live or hang out in very populated areas like cities, you are also more susceptible through both entity exposure and a weakened auric field from EMFs, which leads to entities attaching to you with ease. So now going into more detail about how entities attach. Foreign entities possess humans by unhealed trauma, fear, and soul loss. So just going deeper now into these topics. The number one way entities can attach to your body is having a weak energy body or aura body. A weak aura body has holes, cuts, or openings in it in which allow foreign entities to, quote, get in and attach you and influence you in different ways. Holes in your aura body happen when you experience any form of trauma, which we all have to different degrees. These trauma-created holes stay open until you do what is needed to heal and become empowered from your trauma. This usually involves soul retrieval sessions and some sort of deep shadow work healing. The more extreme the traumatic experience you have is, the larger the holes. Sexual trauma and or betrayal, especially from people that you feel are the closest to you, friends and family, can create the largest holes. Fear is also a major influence in creating holes in your aura body and attracting foreign entities to you, for they all feed off of fear. They all feed off of your energy aura body, which is also called your prana chi or life force energy, for this is the only way that they can exist in this reality, it seems. If you have a strong energy aura body, have reclaimed your soul parts, gone deep into your true shadow work, have a strong personal connection to the divine, and doing whatever else is needed to become empowered in your mind, body, and emotions, it is very hard for any type of entity to attach or influence you in any way. Portals and doorways. Some foreign entities can create portals for other foreign entities to easily come and go as they please. Portals can be attached to your home, land, or your body. The same can be done for beneficial light beings or helper guides. These portals can allow many entities into one's physical body or home. Portals can also be created through negative emotions, actions, intentional rituals, magic, and more. One of the main ways foreign entities use portals these days are through the electronic screens and devices such as cell phones, computers, TVs, and so on. Electronic screens create EMF, electromagnetic frequencies, which become the portal itself. Foreign entities and dark forces can ride in through the EMF waves. So in this way, You are opening a door for them to attach to your own home and again, inviting them to interact with you. This is extremely enhanced when you are watching or listening to anything that is showing fear, violence, horror, pornography, or anything that is dark or disturbing. So moving to electronic portals, doors. This would be your cell phone, tablet, computer, modern TV, or any screen that is connected to the internet. These screens can be portals or gateways to other dark dimensions. They are an entrance for something to come into your experience. And I'm not sure if this is only when you are connected to the internet or applies to tapes, DVDs, and other things, etc. But it seems to be dominantly with things that are connected to Wi-Fi and internet specifically. Depending on what you are looking at again, listening to, or what application you are interacting with, certain foreign energies and forces can ride the electromagnetic frequency waves and enter your home or physical space and then attach and possess you. This is certainly true for when you use applications and websites that are run by tech companies who have people working for them who are possessed by dark entities themselves. This would include the many major social media platforms, search engine platforms, and video streaming platforms, for example. Another prominent way that foreign entities can enter your home, possess you, is through watching pornography. Most of the porn that you will find on the internet is designed and created by dark forces or people possessed by them. And the frequency that porn sends to you is riddled with demons and dark entities. It is a way of taking away your power and controlling your sexual life force energy, which is one of the most powerful forms of energy we have for creation and awakening as humans. Watching horror movies or violent movies also has a frequency signature that demons and other dark forces travel upon, so that they may enter into your energy body and space. So, it is very important to be mindful of anything you put into the gateways of your body or consciousness, your eyes, ears, nose, and mouth. This is exceptionally more dangerous for young children, for they are usually more psychic and sensitive to these things. Many of the popular trending shows, social media apps, movies, games, and such for young kids, designed for young kids and teens that they are listening to and watching are created by dark foreign forces or people possessed by them and are influenced by them greatly. They're exclusively, these different games and apps and movies and shows that are created by dark forces are exclusively for the purpose of causing great harm and suffering and control and entity possession for humans. Contracts, oaths, spells, hexes, hell realms, etc. Either in this lifetime or another, you may have made a contract or agreement with foreign entities or forces. These contracts, oaths, promises, agreements, bindings, etc. can transfer from lifetime to lifetime until revoked, cleared, and destroyed. These contracts can attract foreign entities and suffering for those who have made them and their families. They can also influence people to be attracted to the dark side of things such as horror movies, Satanism, dark occult. You may have been a dark wizard or witch in a past life, or perform harmful or destructive spells or curses upon yourself or others. This behavior creates a karmic tie to your harmful actions and can affect you in this and all lifetimes until it is broken and cleared. Black magic could have also been used against you by another in this lifetime or a past. Black magic spells and curses can bring about dark entity possession and cause suffering, confusion, and chaos in one's life. People can purposefully or, quote, accidentally go to hell realms as well. A hell realm might be a place in another dimension where dark entities dwell, or a physical place on earth. It could be in your own home. It is a place where suffering and chaos is the dominant energy of the space or, quote, realm, and it promotes negative, harmful thoughts, actions, and emotions. This can be a physical place where a battle of some kind has taken place, from war. Hell realm can be a place where a horrible act of dense vibrational energy has happened or is happening, such as rape, drug abuse, or great harm to self or others. A hell realm and manifests wherever great suffering, chaos, or destructive thoughts, actions, or emotions have taken place. A hell realm can also be a prolonged emotional state of being, like confusion, depression, addiction, and grieving. The Tibetan Buddhists talk in great detail about different hell realms. You can learn more about this in the Tibetan Book of the Dead. So it's important that hell realm can just be an emotional state of being. It can just be feeling depressed, low energy, confused for long periods of time. That can be hell. Other people who have entity possession. If you have an intimate relationship with other people who have foreign entity attachment, their entities can, quote, jump onto you and possess you. This can be a friendship, business relationship, romantic relationship, or person you live or even just have fun with. You can be most affected by people you live with, work with, and those you, quote, have sex with or make love with. You open yourself up intimately to this person and their entities, especially if there is no love involved with the sexual experience. This is also the case if you sleep in the same room with someone who has entity possession. You can also become susceptible when you go into heavily populated places like a city, hospital, concert, festival, or airport, for example. Entities attached to other people can transfer onto you when you are around large groups of people. For many, the people you interact with have foreign entity attachments. Plant medicine and psychedelic journeys. It's very common to pick up foreign entities when partaking in or using plant medicines or on psychedelic substances. So this happens mainly when the space you are doing the ceremony or substance is not energetically protected. If the facilitator or shaman is not highly trained or qualified to be holding space, or if you are ungrounded or, quote, take too much. I've heard that some people have experienced, been in different ceremonies where they actually have seen the shaman or the facilitator using people's chi and kind of um, draining them of energy like a psychic vampire while on a substance. So those for different types of substances. If you're not familiar with this can be ayahuasca or psilocybin or LSD or different type of entheogens, they're called, and so forth. How entities and dark occult forces attack, influence, and interfere. So now moving into slightly different side of this, this is more how they can, not so much, they while either possessed or not possessing you or attaching to you, but just being around you or something being sent to disturb you, influence you, or attack you. So it is not necessarily an entity attached to you, but it can be different forces or energies surrounding you, or even from other types of universes, realms, or existences. And these are some examples here pictured. We'll go into this. So again, how entities and dark occult forces attack, influence, and interfere. They can do this through encouraging destructive beliefs and actions, promoting and encouraging fear, anger, rage, lust, paranoia, anxiety, depression, violence, hate, phobias, etc. Influencing addictive behavior, drugs, alcohol, entertainment, porn, shopping, games, sex, etc. Taking your life or hurting others. Complicating your life so they can make you too busy or stimulated or download too much information, overloading your system, destroying your relationships, sending a matrix agent to attack you. So this is interesting. This is an idea of where the entity or dark force is wanting to disturb you in some way and is using another being, another person who may be possessed and have entity attachment to come into your life, whether this is for a moment or for a long period of time, to distract you, to encourage destructive behaviors, addictions, to kind of, quote, take you off of your path of being an embodied soul human being on earth. That just this is coming from the Matrix movies, the Agent Smiths, where the Agent Smiths are these vehicles that can go into the people who are plugged in, and kind of possess them, go into them, and then with a specific goal and mission to disturb and harm you and encourage you to harm yourself and again take you off of your spiritual path, distract you from your healing, awakening, and mastery of self. So they can also get you to, quote, love or be very interested in violent, satanic, or disturbing movies, books, games, etc. They can influence you to engage in black magic, Satanism, dark occult practices and rituals, etc. They can influence you or change your thoughts, actions, beliefs, hobbies, interests, where you live, what you're, quote, passionate about, the food you eat, the music you're listening to, your dating type, and even your gender. So the entities attached to you can either be living their life through you, like we were talking about before. You're now eating the food that the entity wants. You're dating the type of person that the entity wants. You're changing your gender to be the entity's gender. You are, or the demons or other beings are acting through these things that are creating destruction or harm in some way. So how do you know what is yours? How do I know what is mine or what is coming from outside entity or cult interference? So it is very easy when you get into this world of entities and dark forces and entity attachment to kind of, you can get into this kind of inertia of blaming entities on everything. Oh, it must be an entity, or I'm possessed, or I have dark forces are attacking me, or I'm cursed, or I have bad luck, or there's a spell on me. It can be very attempting to use that as an excuse to avoid doing our shadow work, soul retrieval, to do our deep trauma healing, to be a deeply embodied soul human being. It's kind of like if you're into Sasquatch or Bigfoot and you go into the woods. You might have seen this on different shows or movies or YouTube videos, and someone's into Bigfoot and they're searching for Bigfoot and it's nighttime and they hear something and they're like, oh, is that Sasquatch? And then they walk around and they see something in the night move down in the shadows and they're like, oh, did you see that? That must be a Sasquatch. Everything's Sasquatch. When you're looking for Bigfoot, Sasquatch, every sound, everything is Sasquatch. It's kind of like that. And it's important to know what can be entity attachment influenced, dark occult force influenced, attack and interference, or what is actually coming from something else. And what form, what physical, mental, emotional condition that is harmful, unwanted, causing suffering to some degree, is that coming from entity attachment or is that coming from unhealed trauma? Shadow projections, soul loss, flawed beliefs, programs from religion, social, school, online, movie influences, an actual mental imbalance or condition, or hanging out with, quote, the wrong crowd, or Watiko, etc. If you don't know what Watiko is, that's a whole nother type of thing, but please definitely look into Watiko. Differences between foreign entities and non-physical guides and helpers. So this is the whole devil angel in your ear. Like, what is the difference between? How do you tell the difference? How do you know what guidance is coming from source, the God within you, your spiritual team, your helpers, and what influence, guides, thoughts, encouragement, ideas are coming from entities possibly? So we all have spiritual non-physical guides and descended loved ones that are living along with us, but part of their role is to guide, protect us, not harm us in any way. So those guides and helpers we would never clear. So an entity removal that we would do, we would never ever touch or clear any of these malevolent guides, helpers, ancestors, and so on that are helping us, protecting us, guiding us. Nothing would attach or possess you that wants to do good, only harm. So these malevolent guides, being spiritual teams, they would never want to possess us or control us or tell us really what to do, whether that harm or is intentional or unintentional. So most foreign entities cause harm or are destructive to you, your space, your loved ones, and your life, even if they are not wanting to harm you intentionally. For example, if an earthbound dead ghost entity was hanging around your home because they like you or they feel safe around you, they still again have to use your energy, your chi prana, to stay in our reality. So even though they are not trying to cause you harm, they are still draining your energy by being, quote, attached to you or your space. Another way of saying this is just by them being attached to you, they have to use your life force chi energy to stay in this earth realm. Most foreign entities seek to, quote, control you or have you do their bidding. Can more than one entity possess at a time? So we're going to some facts, some like frequently asked questions about entities and entity attachment that we have gotten and that I've seen around. So can more than one entity possess or attach a human or space at a time? Yes. It is very common to have multiple foreign entities attached to your energy, body, or space. If you do not remove them, they can stay with you for your entire life and any future lives. If I don't believe in demons or ghosts or the afterlife, can I still become influenced or possessed? Yes. No matter if you believe in them or not, you can have entity possession. No matter how spiritual religious you are, you can still get entity attachments. For example, I still have to clear myself and my family often, especially when we go into cities or around large groups of people. We live out in the forest, so when we stay home and we have our protective grids up, we do our protecting practices, we have an emotionally good day, and so on and so forth. It is very rare that we pick up any type of entity. But we do regularly clear our home and reset our protective grids every week because they are just seem to be around, but definitely more dominant in more heavily populated areas like cities. If I'm a spiritual slash religious person, a light worker, a modern shaman, etc., can I still get entity attachment? Yes. It doesn't matter how religious or spiritual you are, or how much training or initiations you may have. It seems from our experience and from others who offer entity removal that the only way to fully be free of entities is from getting an entity removal depossession session slash method that is proven to actually work. So to actually have you doing it yourself by learning how to do it from a trained professional, or you getting an actual entity removal session that is proven to work. That's very important. That has some testimonials, that has some proof that there is a difference from before the clearing to after the clearing. So that's one way to be free of the entities. This, along with everything previously mentioned, so the soul truth, changing one's thoughts, actions, and beliefs that are causing fear, confusion, and suffering. So it doesn't matter how much you meditate, it doesn't matter how many initiations, how much training, how spiritual religious you are. It seems that the only thing that really takes away the entities is from what we talked about, everything in the past that we just talked about, being fully empowered, have a strong connection to the divine, and to actually remove with some sort of removal method the entities, either yourself or having someone that has great experience to doing it for you. Should I be afraid of foreign entities and dark occult multidimensional forces? No. Entities have no power by themselves. The only power they have is the power you give them, mainly through the fear you have towards them or the fear you carry in general. Again, they feed on and are attracted to fear and negative thoughts, emotions, and actions. They gain power through human ignorance as humans unknowingly continue to do their bidding. The more a person engages in destructive thoughts and actions, the more they become attracted and fed. We must all be mindful of our thoughts and actions and strengthen our energy body, our aura, for this is the main way to keep them out and gain personal empowerment. This is very important to understand that the entities want you to fear them. That's why the horror movies are so intense about entity possession. They're like battling them and fighting them, and they seem to have all this superhuman strength and power and doing these crazy things to the humans. And this can happen, yes, but that it's not to be afraid of, because the fear and anything related to fear and the destructive actions and thoughts and beliefs. This is the main way that attracts and is creating more of these types of entities. So when we regain our power, we have a strong connection to God's source energy, and we have all the things we've mentioned, you are safe. You are safe. We are more powerful than them. It goes in the order of existence, power, it goes God, us, them. They are an aspect of source, it seems, because if everything is source, God, then they must be too. But why would they be attaching to us and possessing us if they don't have the same type of free will and power of creation that we have? Interesting to think about. So now I'd like to move into teaching you, offering you, suggesting to you a basic technique and practice to clear unwanted energy. And again, unwanted energy is energetical leftovers, emotional, physical leftovers that remain in a space or attached to a person that is causing some sort of negative, unwanted mental, physical, emotional, spiritual outcome. So just to give a warning here, caution, if you choose to do what is suggested here, only do it for yourself or your home space that you, quote, own. If you wish to do this clearing for another person or someone else's space, you must get their permission first. Only verbal permission from the person. Only do this for your family and close friends and not as a service to others. If you wish to become trained to offer these clearing services to others, we offer multiple trainings on these subjects. If you proceed, you do so at your own risk. So again, this is only for clearing energy. This is not for clearing any type of foreign entities, even though entities may be cleared in this process. This is focusing on unwanted, stagnant, dense energy for yourself, a home, an object, a family member, or a friend. And it is very easy, it is very basic, but it is very profound and powerful, and it really works. So here are the steps, how to energy clear. Keys. So calling in and embodying emotionally the 3 L's, light, levity, and love. It's important to note that you're not chasing out the darkness or unwanted energy. You're not fighting it. You're not kicking it out. You're not angry at it. You're not forcing it out like leave energy. Oh, be gone. Da, 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 gone. Oh, God, I don't want this. Oh, so bad. No, we want to be focusing on what you want to be bringing in. Love, light, levity, joy, peace, clarity, calmness. So embodying those emotions while you're doing this clearing. Stages and steps. Gather your tools, set up your tools. The tools would be using white sage, Palo Santo, cedar, or making some sort of a spray with essential oils. Gathering, if you're using something that's going to be burning, some sort of shell or bowl that can catch the ashes. Having a feather is nice as well. You can also use sound, so you can use an instrument or your voice to also use that as a clearing tool as well. You'll want to use a candle. It's nice to create that flame that represents God, the divine, purification, transformation. Do any protection rituals and practices that you know of before doing the clearing. Clearing protocol for your home and space. So using smudge again, song, instruments, clapping, etc. Begin in the north direction, then move to the east, to the south, to the west. The energy leaves in the northwest corner. Choose for if you're going to go, if it's a house and there's like a basement, a middle, and an upstairs, you want to choose if you're going to go top down or bottom up. And usually if a certain level of the house or a certain room of the house feels worse, you want to do that last. So if it's on the top floor house, bedroom feels the worst, you're going to want to start in the basement or the bottom floor and then go up and end up. And you're basically using smudge, the song, the instrument or whatever you choose to have a tool, and you walk around the house in the directions we stated, holding that energetical, emotional state of love and joy, happiness, light, love, levity, while clearing and having a sense of appreciation for the space. Thank you, bed. Thank you for this home. Thank you for this beautiful art. Thank you, refrigerator holding my food. Thank you so much. Having this appreciation, this other three L's, love, light, levity, while you're doing the clearing. And then moving through the entire house, opening up any doors and cabinets, getting all the nooks and crannies, especially the corners, and then uh, making sure that you go everywhere in your house that you're doing, in every spot as much as possible. When you're finished and complete, you say thank you. And of course, you can invite any guides or helpers that you work with that are part of your team to assist you with this clearing, saying thank you to them, and then thanking the space when you're done as well. So doing a person clearing, it's the same, using smudge, song, instruments, clapping, etc. You're clearing yourself or the person, moving all around them in a clockwise manner. And if you're on yourself, you do whatever feels intuitive. So if you're doing this for yourself, you can go and do this in any type of intuitive way that feels good to you. There's really no right or wrong, just with the intention that you're releasing all that does not serve, all that does not belong, all that is not wanted. And you're holding again the energy of what you're wanting to feel as you're clearing. So how to know if the clearing worked? You should feel right away some amount of overall sense of calm, lightness, peace, joy, love, ease, creativity, passion, vitality, etc. The level you feel this depends on the amount of unwanted energy is around you or attached to you, and the amount of entities attached to you or your space or the people around you. So again, because this isn't directly clearing entities, if there are entities attached to you, this type of clearing can still leave some entities around. And that can be something you're feeling if you're not feeling good or if you don't feel something right away. And the more you do this clearing, the better you'll feel. So the amount of how you're feeling this just depends on the entities in this space, the entities maybe attached to you or people in your home, and then the different level again of focus on what you're wanting to feel, holding that emotion of clarity and love and light while you're doing the clearing. Maybe some fear got in while you were doing it, or some anxiety, and maybe it didn't work very well because of that. But if it worked and you did it properly, you should be feeling some immediate relief of some of these different qualities and emotions. So basic protection practices and tools. So it's important in these days and times that we have some sort of energetical protection. Just like if you were walking into a space, say a forest, and there's known to be a lot of bears, maybe you would carry bear spray just in case. Or, people who would go to battle, they would bring with them a weapon because the chances of them coming into a confrontation were high. So now, because there is this spiritual energetical war that is happening and been happening, it is important that we have some form of protection. So these are just some very basic but very practical and powerful tools that you can do. And this is what we suggest that you can do every day for yourself. You can envision a bubble of light, literally like a force field of light. You can choose any color. Pastel colors are nice, or just a brilliant white light. And you want to gather this light energy straight from God's source energy. So straight from the divine. It's coming straight from there, making this bubble around you. And you can close your eyes and imagine this bubble of pure white light surrounding your physical body, your energy body, and it's staying with you throughout your whole day. And you can use your arms to create it, using your imagination, using your breath. Call upon your guides, helpers, spiritual team to protect you, your home, car, loved ones, etc. So this is using prayer and commands, calling upon your whatever beings you work with to specifically keep you safe and protected. Again, you want to focus on what you want, not what you don't want. So say that you want to be safe, protected, right place, right time. It's very important that you focus on what you want to happen. Okay, so this seems very simple, but it's very profound. And this is something that I suggest that you do every day, especially before you go out into the world, before you get onto the internet, and before especially you go into highly populated places. Excuse me. So again, us at Toren Collective, we offer entity removal, depossession, exorcisms, paranormal haunting assistance. So houses that are having paranormal haunting type symptoms from entities, we help clear the houses, objects, people, land, and information about our entity clearing methods, our background, and some more frequently asked questions that we get, we will now move into, all about entity attachment removal and more. So where did we learn? So we is involving myself and my wife, Kriana. Where did we learn entity clearing and what lineage does it come from? Almost all religions, forms of spiritual practices, and indigenous tribal cultures have some sort of method to remove foreign entities and dark forces. Kriana and myself have extensive training and initiations from many different magical and spiritual traditions. The energy clearing we offer comes directly from our own tailored methods that we have gathered from these many traditions and practices that we have vast experience with. The entity clearing method we use was taught to us from one of our dear friends and teacher, Tatiana Sakurai, who originally learned entity eviction clearing from a system called Access Consciousness. After learning using Access Consciousness clearing method for a time, Tatiana tailored it to fit her style and needs. After seeing the positive results from many clients, she decided to teach the entity clearing protocol to her students. Kriana and myself have both received and completed the entire entity clearing training from her. Like Tatiana, we have also tailored it and refined it to suit our style and needs for ultimate positive outcome and potency. I feel it is very healthy for one to learn a practice or tool, become seasoned and confident with it, then adjust it to make it more personal and evolve the method and tool as it seems fit and appropriate. We at Toren Collective are not associated with Access Consciousness, however, in any way. Our clearing methods. Whether it is a person that is possessed or has entity attachment to some degree, or a house or physical space, our method is the same. We can do this in person or long distance. For in-person entity clearing or depossessions, we have a two-step process. First, we start by energy clearing the entire space and yourself with either one or multiple of the following: sage smudge, rosewater, tinctures, shakers, palo santo, etc. As we walk through the entire house with the sage or other tools, we create an atmosphere of love, peace, and appreciation. We do this by playing, singing, and chanting loving and high vibrational sound and music, or mantras sometimes. We bring flowers and sing and laugh in the space where the possession or entity attachment is taking place. This brings in the light. We're going and we go into a place and we turn on the light. We bring in joy and love and laughter and clarity, for dark energy cannot live. It cannot exist in that type of atmosphere. When we turn on the light in a room and it's dark, what happens? The darkness goes away. So that's initially what we're doing. We bring flowers, we bring essential oils that come from a diffuser. We play music in the background that are very high vibrational music. We're creating an atmosphere where the darkness has to leave. Step 2 is the entity removal clearing / depossession protocol that helps the entities to be removed and put into their proper place or sent to the light to be transmuted to another form of love and light. By, quote, turning on the light, the darkness again eventually has to go away. Darkness cannot grow or influence people where there is joy and love and empowerment. When the two-step clearing process is complete, we then offer to teach you how to personally manage entities by creating a sacred container made of sacred geometry, light, and sometimes crystals around you, your loved ones, and your home. Think of this as a protective energetic bubble of light and love around yourself, your family, and your space. This helps keep the foreign entities away from your home, yourself, and your family. The most important thing is to be mindful of your thoughts and actions. For changing your actions and beliefs is what stops the entities from attaching and having an influence over you, as well as all the other things we've mentioned previously. We are gladly available to assist you with all this short, long term, for it can take time to change its thoughts, beliefs, and actions. So when the entity clearing is done, we give you information similar to what you're receiving here that's tailored specifically to you about how entities can attach, about how maybe you've been attracting them, and then offer to teach you different ways to create energetical protective protectional shields around you and your home that is available like in other sessions that we can go deep into as well. Will entity removal help with my mental and physical problems and issues? So we get this a lot, and the answer is many, but not all, mental and physical illnesses and symptoms seem to be related to entity possession, can either completely go away or greatly reduce after an entity clearing depossession. This goes for many mystery or quote incurable issues as well. In our experience, many mental issues and pains in the physical body are either fully caused by or greatly influenced by entity possession. This is based on a case-by-case basis, and the effects of the entity clearing or depossession are not guaranteed. Any symptom or condition that is not related to the attached entities will still most likely be present. The entities that have been attached to the you will certainly be removed. However, more can come within the same day and attach to you, as we talked about. This is why we find it very beneficial to teach you how to remove entities yourself on a daily basis as needed through some of our trainings. So if there is a symptom that you're experiencing that is entity related 100%, getting an entity clearing can have that be issue be reduced or completely go away. But anything that's not related to an entity attachment will still be there most likely. We are not doctors, we're not psychiatrists, so we can't say really for sure how this really works. But from our experience, many people that experience that are going through different symptoms that are unwanted and causing pain, they have entity removal, depossession, or clear their home, and they get significant relief, or sometimes it goes away completely. So was it entity related or not? We don't know, but something's going on. And when the clearing happens, whatever we're clearing seems to have a great positive benefit. But that's really important to understand that this is all unknown, and we're just going by experiential nature, and do not rely on an entity removal or depossession to fix any physical problems or illnesses or conditions, for it is a tool that could possibly assist you. Will the foreign entities come back after a clearing is complete? Yes, if you do not gather back fragmented soul pieces from soul retrieval and change that which is causing you suffering or behaviors that are attracting or feeding the entities. This includes, again, your daily lifestyle, thoughts, beliefs, emotions, habits, friends, partners, jobs, actions, etc. Once your current entities are clear, or once the current entities are clear, other similar foreign entities can come and possess you again and again if you don't change or transmute the main root cause or quote food source for said entities. You don't have to be a perfect saint and change your entire life all at once. The happier you are, the more you feel and express love, and the more you are grounded, empowered, and clear in your body, mind, and energy, the fewer entities are attached to you and can influence you, as we stated. So positive after effects. What to expect after an energy clearing, entity removal, depossession. So this is kind of an overall feedback that we've gotten from different people that we've done entity clearing for, and how we have felt when when we have had our personal experiences with entity removals, depossessions. So these are just the most common possible positive side effects, positive after effects: clarity, peace of mind, more energy and vitality, improved sleep, a strong feeling of purpose and passion for life, heightened senses, a positive increase of sexual energy, feeling safe and at home in your mind and body, unwanted feelings, emotions, physical conditions related to the dense slash negative energy or foreign entities could possibly reduce or go away completely. Life force kundalini energy can flow more smoothly and easily. Easier to heal and spiritually awaken. Stronger connection to spirit guides and allies. Easier to connect to your own creativity. You may deeply feel, for the first time in this lifetime, your own authentic thoughts, feelings, emotions, and impulses. Home, place of work, and land feeling more relaxed, peaceful, and calm, safe, and much more. So moving on to closing, these are suggested readings. If you want to dive deeper into these topics, these are some books that you can get that are available that we recommend. There are many, many books, but these are kind of the top ones that I would suggest. The Unquiet Dead, Psychiatrist Treats Spirit Possession by Dr. Edith Fiore. Hidden Forces of Life, this is by Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. Any of the Watiko books by Paul Levy. I think he has 3 of them. Healing Lost Souls, or Spirit Release and Spirit Releasement Therapy. Those are 2 separate books by William J. Baldwin. The Demonologist, The Extraordinary Career of Ed and Lorraine Warner by Gerald Brittle. The movie The Conjuring, all those different Conjuring movies are based on Ed and Lorraine Warren. And they were demonologists, as they called themselves, or at least Ed called himself, and they would do different entity removals, exorcisms, help people with paranormal haunting. They kind of pioneered this in a way and made it very well known, I guess you can say, that this is a thing, more kind of mainstreamed, this topic. They also would gather possessed or cursed objects that were causing suffering. The movie Annabelle was created from one of the dolls that existed or exists. And they would gather these different objects and put them in their house, in a room in their house, and have a priest come every day and bless that house and grid the house and protect the house. And their thoughts, I believe, were that if they put all those possessed or cursed objects in a room, that they couldn't get out and harm people. And you can see videos of them and that room online if you wish, and dive deeper into any of this stuff. I suggest, though, that if you do get into reading more about these things, you do it from a place where you feel mentally stable, you feel clear, you feel empowered. And if you experience any type of fear while reading or watching any type of videos or reading anything about these topics, that you stop. Because again, it's that fear that can attract these entities and cause about more suffering. So these books that are really great. And again, if you are reading them or watching something, pause and stop if you're feeling fear. And I only suggest these movies and like the video I suggested of Ed and Lorraine Warner, because sometimes it's helpful to have visuals. It's helpful to have a visual of what I'm talking about, of these different entities and occult forces. And sometimes those visuals can help you understand more what's going on by having an actual audio, like a visual audio type of experience. But I do not suggest watching any type of horror movies, any type of possession movies, unless it's something that you want to get into or you feel very called to do. But I am not suggesting it in any way, shape, or form. So if you do decide to dive deeper into this topic or to watch any of these movies or YouTube videos, just do so at your own risk, and make sure that if any fear comes up, that I suggest you pause and stop and have your own experience and your own journey with it. But I am not endorsing the watching or the reading of anything related to this topic. I think it's important to know what's going on, to have an understanding of it, and then live your life and do your healing and do your your spiritual practice and live life. And there is a thing of gathering too much information, too much data, going too deep down a dark rabbit hole. And sometimes that might be what you need, but so I'm not endorsing any of that. I'm not encouraging it, but you do so what you wish, of course. So, spiritual guardian training level 1 is a 10-week online training where you learn to clear and protect from unwanted energy and entity attachment with my wife Kriana and myself. Become empowered with the knowledge, tools, and practical skills to clear energy and protect yourself, your home, and loved ones from entity attachment, occult forces, and psychic attacks. We're just finishing up with our first level 1 training. It's gone great. It's been a really powerful, wonderful experience. And this is where we teach you. You dive deeper, much deeper in all these topics. This level 1 training specifically is to teach you how to do energy clearing and to do it specifically for a personal, in a personal way for yourself, your family, your friends, and for their home or for their objects or dogs or what have you, but to not have it be a professional service. So you're not doing it as a service to others. You're just doing it for yourself and for family and friends. And this level 1 training is going very deep on focusing on yourself, on becoming embodied, on guarding the gates of your consciousness, on developing more of your psychic ability, your discernment, doing healing shadow work, and really focusing on preparing you to be doing this clearing if this is something that you do want to do professionally. So the level 1 training is very specifically tailored to focusing on you and preparing your body and mind and energy, whether you want to be doing energy clearing or entity attachment removal for other people. It's great to know how to do it for yourself and your family. And even if you don't want to do it professionally or offer it to other people, the tools and the practices and the rituals that we offer are life-changing. And they've changed our lives and many, many other people's lives. And it's a really powerful, empowering experience. You can learn more about this on our website. And again, the Spiritual Guardian Training Level 2 is going to be a 10-week online training intensive, and it's learn to identify, clear, and protect from entity attachment and dark occult forces. So become empowered with the knowledge, tools, and practical skills to clear entities and protect yourself, your home and family, and clients from entity attachments, occult forces, and psychic attacks. So this is going deep into specifically entity clearing. So deep into a lot of the topics in this course, but going more deeper into them in depth, specifics, and teaching you the entity clearing protocol that we use to either for yourself or to offer this as a service to others. The level 1 training is next one starting middle of February, and I believe the level 2 training we're going to aim for middle of March. And you can find more about all of this, about ourselves, about the trainings. If you're interested in getting an entity removal, energy clearing, or depossession session or paranormal haunting assistance services, please go to our website, torencollective.com. Thank you so much for your time, your attention. I hope this benefits you in some way, shape, or form. And may you be blessed on your journey of healing and awakening. And I feel very, very humbled and blessed to have shared this information with you and this time with you. And please reach out with any comments, questions, and concerns through our website or you can find us at different avenues online: Facebook, Toren Collective; Instagram, Toren Collective; and YouTube as Toren Collective. Please reach out. Any questions, comments, or concerns, or to book a session with us. Thank you so much.